No, you're not seeing double. It's FLEX-O-Vision. FLEX wasn't happy at releasing one table saw. They're releasing two cordless table saws running on their 24-volt platform. We've got an 8¼ inch and a 10-inch table saw. The 10-inch table saw is supposed to be the only cordless saw that can rip a 4x4 in one pass, and you know we're going to find that out. First up, we have the FLEX FX7211, 7211, and this is the 8¼ inch compact table saw. Runs on their 24-volt battery. However, they're also supposed to have an AC adapter where you can actually plug that into the port and then run this off of an outlet if you need to, especially for those extended run times if you're needing to cut a lot of stuff. Otherwise, you can run any of their 24-volt batteries. Battery ports over here on the side. We'll get to that in a moment. We get a rack and pinion fence system. Lock is right here on the front. Release the lock. It's easy to turn this one way or the other. I can also grab the fence and slide this back and forth. The fence stores away up under the saw when not in use, so making the top nice and flush. When you want to use it, put it up here. You can set it in this format here. We have numbers for both of these up here that are pretty accurate as well. Flip the fence over, several different variations, bring it over here, bring it down, and now it's supporting more of your cut material. Flip it over here on the back. And the really cool thing here, if you see this white stripe here on the fence, over here on the back side there's a switch. Turn that on, that's an LED strip shining light on the right side of the blade. So many times you may see a shadow here, or especially when you have it up close to the blade. Well, now you've got an LED light that you can turn on, and by the way, it's a rechargeable with a USB Type-C port, so you don't have to keep replacing batteries. You can just take your power supply and charge that up from time to time. Turn it off when not in use or when you don't need it. Very easy to move this fence. Flip this up, have the same on the opposite side, move it to this location, move it to the opposite location as well on the other side. If we want to cut with the fence on the left, we can do that, or we can remove it altogether, and then it stores away under the table when not in use. Here on the table, we get a width of 22 7/8 of an inch and a depth of almost 19 inches, like 18 7/8. But the cool thing about this is right here on the left-hand side, bring that up, and now we have an even wider table. So now we have an almost 33-inch wide table, and basically 21 inches left of blade is how far the table extends now. So very easy just to flip that up, and now we've got a wider table. You can see right here on the ruler, we have two different sets of numbers. So you can see the fence attaches here on these Allen heads or on these Allen heads, and that's why we have two separate sets of numbers. So at the 0 point right here, that's if our fence was right here. But since we're here, we know we're almost at 5 inches. So let's dial it at 5, and we can see here that we're at 5 inches from the fence to the blade. Easily dial in the measurement we need, lock that down at 8 inches, and make our cuts. Easily move that to the spot we need, dial it in at 15 inches, lock it down, and now we can make our 15-inch cuts if we need to. Or set this down to 4 inches on the upper. Change our fence location, and now we're set at 4 inches. Very easy to power the unit on or off. So the big red switch here, pull it up or pull it out, and that's going to be on. Push it down, and that's off. To dial in the miter, we can flip this lever right here, bring it to 15 degrees if we need to, clamp it back down, and now we're good to go. If you need to bring the blade up, crank to the right or clockwise, bring the blade down counterclockwise. Very easy to do so. Bring back to 0 and clamp it down. And you can see the mechanism here for our table extension. To bring that down, we have these little tabs right here. Squeeze it on both of them, bring this down. Again, you see it lock out. So very easy to raise and lower the extension. And here's our battery port, and we can run everything from a 2 amp hour or the smallest Flex 24 volt battery up to the largest as well. That port's going to fit any of those. So you can run it a long time, or if you have a smaller battery, just need to make a few cuts, you can do that as well. So there's the battery port. Also, the AC adapter will fit in there as well, an AC-DC adapter. And it's also ready for our accessories that come with it. You see it just slides right there in that port when not in use and stays out of the way. Here's our extraction port, inside diameter 2 1/4, outside diameter 2 1/2. So 2 1/2 on the outside, 2 1/4 on the inside, and you can see that's a cast aluminum housing. That's not plastic. And if you see right here, here's all our tools for removing the blade and also making adjustments to the saw. But everything's contained right here and put away with this thumb screw, easily accessible, and keeps everything out of the way and nice and tidy. There's also a spot to keep our additional accessories for our guards. It's going to go in here. And lock down. And right here on the front of the saw is where our push stick actually goes in, slides in, and locks. I do have a concern here. The push stick is right here close to the guard, and the guard is really not locked down on this side. Not that it's going to move around, but I think that you could accidentally come in with a stick and kind of push this thing. If you come in level, you should be okay. But again, just something probably could have done a better job of maybe mounting this somehow in a secondary place and keeping that nice and tight and secure. But regardless, it still works. And like I said, here's the hole for the push stick, which again is a great concealment for the stick, just getting in the way of the guard down there. Also right here, we can easily check the battery. I don't have to go to the side and push the actual button on the battery. We just push the button here. It gives this the indicator of how much charge is left on the battery. And at full extension with the fence, we get a full 25 inches from blade to the fence. And also under the table on the rear of the saw are the anti-kickback paws. So keep them nice and stored away up there and out of the way, and pull them down as you need them. This is the FLEX FX7221, and this is the 10-inch table saw. And this runs off their 24 volt battery platform, just like the 8 1/4 does, as well as you can also run an AC adapter that should be available soon, so you can plug it into the wall if you need to. Now, one of the big deals about this, it has their cut sense technology. Now, this is not a safety feature. This is really a runtime feature. When you power the cut sense feature on, and let's say you're cutting by yourself and you're taking a piece of wood or material and you're sliding it across the sensor, once it passes the sensor, it should shut the saw off, and that's going to extend the battery runtime for you, and you're not having to run back and forth and actually turning this unit off. So if you're passing something by and then you walk around and pull it on through, again working by yourself, it's going to handle turning the saw off for you. You can obviously turn that feature off. But again, cut sense is not a safety feature. It's more of a convenience or efficiency feature. Turning the saw on is pretty self-explanatory. Hit the green button. And to turn the saw off, you can just push the big red button, or you can lift that up and push that red button. Regardless, this is kind of the big safety switch. You can hit that and shut it off. Adjusting the miter of the blade, easily lift this up, swing it to where you need to, set it at 20, clamp it down, and now you're locked into place. Bringing the blade up clockwise, blade down counterclockwise, and again, you've got a 10-inch blade. Right here on the front of the saw, pull this out, that is your push stick. So you've got a nice little port that you push that push stick in, and it holds that into place, keeping it out of the way, but easily accessible right here from the cutting side of the saw. Also right here on the bottom, there's a button. I can actually check the battery gauge or the battery level. I don't have to go to the side and pull that out and push a button. I can do it right there, and it tells me how much fuel is left in that battery. We have a rack and pinion style fence. So you can see here we have a gear right here that actually rolls that track of gears right there to move that table or that fence where you need it. You can also easily just grab this and roll this back and forth as well. And we have 3 different spots we can mount our fence. And that gives us a max blade right of a little over 30 inches. So about 30.5 inches from the fence to the blade when extended all the way out. Locking out the fence is easy. Lift it up and free it up. Set it to your desired location, push it down, and you're locked into place. And just like on the smaller saw, we have a white strip right here. If we turn this button on the opposite side, that's an LED light strip, and so that's going to shine some light on the right side of the blade. Easily turn this off, and you can also recharge this. Right here on the top of the table, this is that cut sense sensor. So that's actually what senses the material coming across. And if you look underneath this table, you can see that sensor right there. And just like on the smaller saw, the guard mounts right here when not in use. No tools needed to put that in place. However, when locked in, it is a bit flimsy down here as far as kind of mounting that away, and could get in the way of that push stick when pushing that push stick in. Again, small troubles, but just wanted to mention that. And mounted underneath is the wrench for removing the saw blade, as well as the Allen wrench for making adjustments. Nice and out of the way, but convenient to get to. And on the extraction port, looks to be a 2¼ inch internal. We'll check. Yeah, 2¼ inches internal. Should be 2.5 external. Yeah, 2.5 external, and cast aluminum housing, so no plastic. Okay, so let's make a couple of cuts here. Bring this in, lock that down. Go ahead and turn our light on. Get a decent saw brake or motor brake that actually stops the blade. It doesn't freewheel. Very good power on that. I'll push that pretty good. Push this one a little harder. And we'll do that one more time. And we'll go ahead and cut some PT. No power issues at all. Okay, for this one, we're going to pull the throat plate off of the 10-inch. Let's run that blade up. We've got the battery out. Battery is not in here, so no power going to it. Battery is here. To take out our riving knife, lift this up, push this over. Put our guard in, lock that down. And to put on our anti-kickback paws, push that button, push it in, make sure it's locked into place, and there you go. So now, as we lower, the paws automatically rotate up, the guards actually come up, and I can lock those in if I want to. So I can leave the anti-kickback engaged or on, but I can raise the guard up out of the way if I need to. Or I can bring those down and they'll stay on the surface. But obviously, I can't get as close with that guard on, even if I had my fence up here, than I could if I just had the bare blade. And I cannot run just the riving knife with the anti-kickback. The anti-kickback has to go with the guard. Okay, we'll go ahead and run a piece of PT through here. Okay, we're going to go ahead and crank this up. Supposedly, this is the only 10-inch cordless table saw that will rip a 4x4 in one shot. And there you have it. Okay, we're going to turn on the cut sense technology and let's see how this works. Okay, you can see our sensor is right here, so supposedly after it passes over that, I'm wondering if it waits a certain amount of time, it should shut the unit off. Let's try it. Power on. There you go. And it doesn't just turn back on just because you cover it back up again. So to turn the unit back on again, all you have to do is hit the green button. To take it off of the cut sense, you have to hit the A again. That takes it off, and now you're back to normal. We're going to go ahead and set the angle at 40 degrees and give this 2x4 a rip and see how well it does at that. Well, this wasn't supposed to be a full comprehensive review, but we did want to go over all the features and then actually use it to give you an idea of our first thoughts on this. We will come back at some time and do a full review on each one of these. We'll talk about runtime and things like that, because this is one of those tools that probably the first thing out of your mouth is, well, what's the runtime? And we don't know yet. We haven't done that extensive of testing yet, but we did want to kind of get these things through the ringer a little bit, see what type of power they had to share that with you, as well as share the pricing. Now, the power is very impressive on these. You can see we ripped through a 4x4. Did it slow the saw down? Well, absolutely, if you were pushing on it with the 4x4. But still, it ripped through that 4x4 rather easily. And at a 40-degree miter, ripping through a 2x4 really had no problem at all. So both of these have great power and have great potential in being a great job site table saw. As for pricing, for the 8 1/4 inch table saw, you're looking at $449, so $450 for the bare tool. Now, if you step up to the kit, which we have no idea what the battery is in the kit or the charger is in the kit, but that is going to run you $599, so another $150 for the battery and the charger. Now, if you step up to the 10-inch, you're looking at $549 for the bare tool and $749 for the kit. And again, we don't know which battery and charger, but since it's a $200 jump on this one and a $150 jump on this one from bare tool to kit, we're assuming we're getting a higher capacity battery with the 10-inch table saw. We will share those details when we have them. Look for these to release sometime in January. So sometime in the coming days, we should see these available. And you get a 5-year warranty with these, or if you step up and purchase these within the next year, you can actually step up to the founder's warranty as long as you register them within 90 days of purchase. So be sure to do that. Once you purchase these, just go ahead right away and register these tools, and that will bump you up to the founder's warranty, which is a lifetime warranty. We'll follow up with more details on these saws, but be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and even TikTok. And if you don't mind, would you hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done so already? And by all means, if you hated our video, well, give us a thumbs down. But would you let us know in the comments why? Have a great day. Keep smiling.